Hey guys, today I am very excited to show you how I cut and style a synthetic wig to make it go from scary to a real look. It'll end up way softer, smoother, and just all around looking way better than it did. This was like a $10 or $15 wig that we're really going to fix up.
2, 1, 0, and lift off, the final lift off of Atlantis on the shoulders of the space shuttle.
The things you'll need are silicone mat, scissors, hot glue, bobby pins, or another type of clip, and some kind of skewer or stick to press down on the glue. You want to start by brushing out all of the hair while it's dry and making sure it is all nice and neat and parted the way that you would like it to be. Then you're going to put the hair into a ponytail if it is a long wig to start, which I recommend, always starting with a long wig. And you're going to cut all of the extra hair off the bottom that you don't necessarily need for length, but you're going to want to save this hair to make wefts to add to the thickness of the hair. Get this tail of hair wet, not soaking wet, but you'll see we soaked it and then we dried it off a little bit with a cloth so it would be damp, but not wet. This will make it so much easier to pick up the hair as you're doing it. And you can also clean up the mat by using a lint roller to pick up loose hair then, but it's really easier in general to use wet hair to start. This is probably the most tedious step of the whole process, and that is going to be taking little sections of the hair and making it into one even strand and then gluing it down on the mat and thinning out that glue to make a little bit of an end cap on the hairs. And you're going to have to do that, unfortunately, with all of the hair if you want it all added back on the wig. You really just need to do it on however many little pieces you want to insert here and there. You can really check by looking at the wig cap and seeing where there are bald patches that you're going to want showing. And every single wig is going to be different on where you want more hair. So this is kind of just a general overview of what you want to do. As you start to fill up the mat with the wefts, you're going to flip them over and pick off any really loose hairs that are going to get in the way and add it back on the pile. And you're going to glue the other side of the weft so that there's glue on both sides of the hair. And since this is hot glue, it works really well because it'll pick up or it'll heat up the glue on the other side of it and join it together, so it's a really strong bond. You're going to glue both sides of every single weft you make so that it is a thick piece of that gluey hair on the end. And it's okay if it's really uneven while you're gluing it because the next step is going to be cleaning up all these wefts. Pull off the loose strands of hair from your wefts, and at this point, if there's just like a couple little stray things and it's annoying to deal with them, you can go ahead and just put them in a bin off to the side, and if you're going to use them for something else, do it, otherwise throw it away and keep working with the pile you have. But make sure you cut the extra bits of glue off of every side of the weft. So there's like 3 sides that have glue that hangs off the edges, and you want to cut that so that you have nice, flat, even pieces to work with when you're gluing it to the head of the wig. An optional step, once you have cut up all your wefts and your wig, is to put them in a hairnet and soak them in a pot of water and fabric softener and detergent. And this will soften up the hair and get rid of some of that shine and make it generally just look way better. I really recommend doing this step. I let my wig soak overnight, but if you really want to make sure it's soft, you could leave it a little bit longer, not too much longer, but it's up to you. And I would definitely stir it and check on it as you're doing this, unless you're just leaving it for the time you're sleeping, in which case it's fine to just leave it in there. If you are doing this step, you'll have to let the wig air dry for a little while until it is completely dry because you don't want to start styling it while it's wet and getting it all tangled up. So you'll probably have to wait for it to dry and then brush it out again. And then you can start doing the fun part of styling. It really helps when you're styling the wig to have one of these foam mannequin heads to put it on. They're really cheap. Some craft stores have them for like a couple bucks, and it is a lifesaver from keeping you to have to, sit there and look at it in the mirror while you're working on it and worry if you're going to get hot glue on your head. Please don't try to do this while it's on your head, or just have hot glue seeping through the holes. It's just so much of a hassle unless you put it on this, and you can always protect the styrofoam with a piece of fabric or something so you're not melting the styrofoam. Styling the wig itself is really a matter of personal choice, so you can kind of see what is happening with mine. I'm going for a chignon wig, so it is purposely going to be a little uneven on one side because her hair is cut that way. But do what makes sense for the wig you're trying to make. If you're unsure of how it looks as you're adding all these wefts back in, you can always try it on, look in the mirror, and see how it fits. I actually do recommend trying it on a few times throughout this process. So you're gonna just pick the bald spots really that you see and that you pick out, especially when you're wearing it, and hot glue these wefts into those spots. Cutting the wig is really the same idea again. You want to cut it while it's dry, and just cut off little bits at a time and try it on. Or if you're feeling really daring and you're doing like the bangs in the front, you can just look in a mirror and cut it that way. If you're not comfortable with that, then it's totally fine to just use a sharp pair of scissors and cut little sections off while it's on your mannequin head. I really, really recommend, though, trying it on a lot to make sure that you're cutting it even for your head size and shape, because it is not the same as the mannequin. Once you're done cutting and styling, you should have what looks like a totally finished wig. And you're all set then. Hopefully this is helpful for some of you guys who are into cosplay and wigs and just needed some tips on how to make your cheaper wigs look better. So if you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more crafty content. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.
I love it. It smells. slaps, actually.
Yeah.